All right, so back again with another video. This was a win. Losing streak officially over. So what I did is I actually made some changes. My approach to the market is still the same. My strategy is still the same, I guess. Just my entries, adjusted my entries, kind of perfect them a bit. Um, just after a week of losing, I started to see some things in the market that they started responding. They started responding in ways they weren't before. So let's kind of walk you through kind of like my change and my entries and like how I look at the market as a whole. Um, and actually, I did change my broker because the spread. I just went back and I really analyzed everything. And one of the things that I saw is that due to the large spread, there's certain opportunities that I could not take advantage of. So I actually changed my broker for a much lower spread. I was in Gates FX, now I'm in Restro FX. Much, much, much better. All right, so the trade I took this morning around 7 was on USD Chef. So pretty much what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to pretty much test some things out. Um, this is actually a trade I took. This trade was not a trade I took. I kind of just looking at it and seeing how things work. I didn't even get it right, so I'll delete that part. But then I actually ended up getting it right. This is a trade that I kind of forward tested. I watched this morning. The reason why I didn't take this trade is because I was looking to take the trade on NAS 100. I am trying to trade more of NAS, gold, and US 30. Particularly, I'm starting off with just NAS. Originally, my first week of actually trading on a prop firm, I was able to make like $7,000 off of NAS and US 30. Um, so I kind of want to get back to that, be able to trade in the time frame in which I actually am not trying to go to sleep. So let's look at USD Chef. So basically, the strategy is this. So this is the strategy here. As you can see here, it was a nice trade, man. It was pretty nice. I like this strat. I like this entry rather. Let's see. All right. So and these colors, by the way, I don't know if something's going on with Trading View and Malone that I try to record. So let me select the bar. So basically, what the entry level is basically. So I'm looking at. I start off with the charts, and I look at the daily. Really, it's a 4 hour. I look at the 4 hour, okay, and I look at the 1 hour. The 4 hour and 1 hour is bullish, is going up. So what I do is I drop down to the 5 minute, and I pretty much look for opportunities. So the opportunities are basically what I saw in 5 minute. Basically, is this: if we're in a higher time frames, if we're buying, say for example, we're buying. What I'm doing is I'm looking for supply and demand zones because I noticed what I was doing is that I was looking for supply and demand zones, and I was just buying into them a bit early. Um, like my strategy, I'm not like solely a break and retest, a Fibonacci trader, a supply and demand zone trader. I'm actually a mixture of them all, and it's kind of just naturally how I started looking at the charts and how I started wanting to trade and stuff like that. So basically, is this right here? So normally, right, um, I would see something like this on a higher time frame. This is the 5 minute time frame. So I would see something like this, and I'm like, okay, when the candle breaks above this level of resistance, we're going to get in. But I'm starting to notice that the charts, I don't know, just kind of not, kind of not really responding to it. So if you look at how I normally used to do, like it, like once the candle print right here, once we got right here, I'll pretty much be looking to make an entry somewhere up in here, put my stop loss here. It's around 8 pips. So as an 8 pip stop loss for a 7 pip gain, right? It's not really, it's like, it's not even like a 1 to 1. And that's just on the 5 minute. Of course, the way I did it, I would enter on the 5 minute, but the actual, it would be much bigger. So basically, it's this right here. So I'm looking at the 5 minute, right? And I'm like, okay, if we're downtrending, the goal is to go up because it's our time frame. So I'm going to see a red candle. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna wait for this red candle to get engulfed by a green candle. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go here. Okay, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Let's go here. Okay, boom. So we had a red candle just engulfed by a green candle. Okay. Once this red candle is engulfed by a green candle, the most recent red candle, what I'll do is I'll actually start at the top of that candle to the bottom of the wick, and I will draw a zone, right? A demand zone. Demand zone is when it's going up. Supply zone is when it's going down. I think. So basically, once it's broken, I draw my zone. Okay, and all I'm waiting is for price to come back and retest that zone. So next candle, it started here outside of the zone, came back, retested the zone, retested, bam. Okay, so once it retests, I'm now in the trade. So I'll go long. So once that thing retests zone, I would have been in trade like this at this candle. I would have been in trade. All right, so I'm looking here, and all I'm looking to do is to take this trade to the top of the key, to the top of liquidity, right? And this is like a 1.5, and this right here is just a practice. I did go a little bit heavy on this position, so I still did get some profit. So when you boom, you see here right away, profit target hit. But if I zoom out and I would look at this right here, this level, um, maybe I actually would have held it to around here for like a nice 1 to 2, a nice 1 to 2 something, right? So boom, it hit. Okay, so let's go. And it's still the same thing. Um, take profit out of 1 to 1. So let's go here. Okay, so again, this is the red candle. It was broken by a green candle. So what I would do is I would draw a zone here, and I would go ahead and enter to a trade, like as you see here. So boom, price came, boom, price came, and it pretty much hit. However, though, I would have definitely looked. Now that I've seen that, I would have definitely looked for it to at least go here, because of that right there. Once you get this point, I'm pretty sure it's going to go and do some retracement and then come back to finish that. But this is a nice 1 to 5. So boom, it's hit. So okay, let's go to NAS. I'm looking at NAS this morning, and the thing about NAS, man, NAS um, is you gotta have the fun to trade NAS. NAS can be a bit crazy. So I'm looking at NAS this morning. And let's see here. Let me do a replay. Select the bar. So I'm looking at NAS this morning. NAS shot up around 9 o'clock. I'm at a computer because of the open, right? So I'm looking at NAS, and I'm like, okay, let's look at the 4 hour. Okay, so we're in a downtrend. We're on a downtrend, but ultimately we're in an uptrend. Like this thing has been uptrending since April. So I'm like, okay, I know this downtrend right here is just because the is Israel had shot down a United States helicopter. So I'm like, okay, the Israel war is ramping up, right? Boom. So okay, it came back up, and boom, we went back down. So I'm like, but the higher time frames, we're still in buys. I think we could be transitioning to sales. I mean, not sales permanently, but it could be like a pullback or something like that. And also I know it's just news, right? News. I mean, news could affect it, could not affect it. So I'm like, okay, we've been doing it since April. We're buying, we're going up, right? And then so I'm at the 5 minute, and I'm looking for what for buys. And then what do I see? I see a trend line here, right? It's broken and retested. Okay, so this is where everything kind of really comes into play at this point. Um, is what I do here is I pull out the old fib, and I want to see if this thing will follow the zones on the fib. So okay, we made an indication, and we corrected, and this correction here. Um, in the golden zone from 50 to 61, also along the trend line. So it's all confluences that we're going to go up. We're going to buy up. So boom, we rent right here. Now the trade for NAS with this entry is the supply demand is this red candle had got pretty much engulfed somewhat by this candle. Okay, so let me go back a bar or two. So once we get this red candle, big red candle, The goal would be to make this a zone. However, that's way too big on NAS. So I probably would have just been like something like this or whatever. Okay, so that's the zone. Um, and that's not the zone until the next candle closes, right? So once this next candle closes, is pretty much engulfed. It engulfed it, right? By that little bit, it engulfed it. So okay, this is a zone, really from here to here, all the way down. But that's way too big on NAS. If you know anything about NAS, you know that's definitely not happening. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop down to the 1 minute thing, and as you can see here, this next candle came, and we started outside the zone. It kind of came in and came back out. I didn't take this trade, but if I would have took this trade, as you can see, if you would have drew the price, that's why drawing the zones properly is good. So I probably wouldn't have taken the trade anyways. But as you can see, candle came back in, and then as you can see, you pretty much could have had some profits here. All right, there you go. Eventually got to it. If one was willing to hold the trade, I probably would have gotten out like right here. I just wouldn't have took this trade, but it is a win according to the rule set. So like, say if one did take the trade, and they did do the zone properly, right? What could happen is they could have gotten out at a 1-to-1, or you could have took it at a 1-to-3. Okay, and that's TP1, right? What I'm thinking of doing is trading as I may just keep it at a 1-to-1, just because it's a high rate, high setup, high quality setup, high win rate, right? However, when I'm trading in USD and Chef, I think a lot of these pairs, I think I'm gonna just kind of not trade, okay? Because man, getting up at 3 a.m. is it gets to you over time. So I'm like, all right, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my USD pairs down here. Let me see. There you go. USD CAD, USD Euro. So all these AUD, GBPs, EUs. I think I'm gonna just focus on the USD pairs as the main pair. So when in the mornings, I can just get up and I can just trade, man. This it's like, man, getting up at that time. So yeah, so that's a win for the day and the end of a losing streak.